Today on Judge Faith, a used car salesman on the other side of the deal.
Daryl's a master manipulator and a hustler.
The defendant guaranteed that there was nothing wrong with the vehicle other than the starter.
You have a PhD in used cars in terms of people who come into my courtroom and say they bought used cars.
Absolutely.
Someone who sold
guy.
used cars, and you know, you take your chances.
And a driveway that is not very appealing.
The water-based paint and sealer was not recommended for driveways. The stain began to peel off.
If you paint a wall in your house and you hire a painter and you have a leak and the paint peels off because of moisture, is that the painter's fault?
I ask the questions in my courtroom, not you.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Daryl Milner says his former friend misrepresented a vehicle sale and is suing for the cost of the van and its repairs. Defendants Devika Prasad and Darren McGowan say they sold the van as is.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Milner versus McGowan and Prasad.
Thank you, Barbara. Daryl Milner,
Yes.
you are suing the defendants Darren McGowan and Devika Prasad for $1,300 you say they owe you for the cost of a van and repairs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, Your Honor, this case is about, I felt like I've been robbed by the defendant without him even using a gun or a mask. It's the epitome of just bad decision-making.
How do you know the defendant?
I've been knowing the defendant for over 10 years. He was actually one of the second or third people that I met when I moved to Minnesota, where we both reside. We befriended each other and been friends ever since.
Okay, and how did you come to purchase a van from him?
Well, actually, it comes over a series of things that I have sold a few things to him over the years.
Like
and
what?
Actually, I think a television, an iPad. I actually sold him his own vehicle that he's still driving today.
Okay, what do you do for a living?
I'm actually disabled now, but I was in the car industry for probably about 12 or 13 years.
What did you do in the car industry?
I was actually a used car manager at a domestic dealership in Minnesota.
So you should know a lot about buying used cars, right?
Yes, ma'am,
All
absolutely.
right. So what happened with this case?
Actually, I got a call from the defendant one day, and he told me that he had a vehicle that needed a starter, and he wanted to know if I had a mechanic to take care of it. And I go, absolutely. I got a guy who could take care of it. What's the situation about the vehicle that you have? He goes, well, actually, my girlfriend has a van that it needs a starter. I said, well, once you put the starter on it, what are you going to do after you put the starter? He says, well, we're going to sell it. And I go, well, I know a couple of people looking for a van. I'd be interested if it's a nice van. It doesn't need anything else other than a starter. And he goes, it absolutely needs nothing besides the starter.
Was that the conversation you had with him?
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
what was the conversation?
Daryl's a master manipulator and a hustler. And yes, he do sell cars. When I met Daryl 9 years ago, he was hustling T-shirts at a mall. He's a real shrewd businessman, but he was my friend. And when I went to Daryl, I wasn't trying to sell him a vehicle. My girlfriend, Devika, did have a van that needed to be sold, and I just needed help on getting the starter fixed.
Okay, so what was your conversation with him about the van?
And so when I presented...
What year is the van, by the way?
It's not my vehicle. I never drove it.
Does anyone know what year the van is?
It's a 1993, Your Honor. It's amazing
94.
that I'm a hustler and a manipulator, but he wanted to do business with me. Isn't that amazing?
It was the other way around. You wanted to do business with me.
You called me about the van.
I asked for help to get it fixed.
Okay, you did?
And then, yeah, I needed to get the starter fixed.
Okay, what did you do to get the starter fixed, sir?
Talk to you.
Oh, okay, so you did come to me.
So he offered to look at the vehicle. He was right about the fact that he was interested in taking it off my hand as is without fixing the starter.
Okay, and was any of this agreement about you buying the van put in writing?
No.
So how much did you buy the van for?
$1,000.
Negative.
Lies.
How much are you saying he bought it for?
He bought it for, go ahead, Devika.
$800 and an iPad.
And the iPad was worth $200.
Okay.
Example of his hustle mentality. He wasn't gonna pay $1,000.
Well, you accepted it, so you accepted $800 cash and an iPad,
And
right?
what's the iPad
in
worth?
exchange for the van?
The iPad was worth $200 at the time of the purchase of the van, so I told her because the monetary value is just the same as.
Okay. You've sold used cars. You used to
Absolutely.
work in dealing with
Absolutely.
used cars, so you know what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Did you take it to a mechanic to get it checked out?
Your Honor, that's a good question, and the reason why I didn't.
Very good question.
The reason why I didn't take it to a mechanic is because the defendant guaranteed there was nothing wrong with the vehicle. because he had great
Wrong, no
knowledge about the
guarantees,
vehicle.
no guarantees. You can't put
Your Honor,
Hold on, sir.
Your Honor, the defendant guaranteed that there was nothing wrong with the vehicle other than a starter. I asked several times.
And
I said,
you've worked in, you have a PhD in used cars in terms of people who come into my
Absolutely.
courroom and say they
Absolutely.
bought used cars.
Absolutely.
Someone who
Who's that
sold
guy?
used cars, and you know, you take your chances.
Absolutely.
You didn't take it to a mechanic. Did you test drive it?
I did take it to a mechanic. It wasn't drivable at the time because it needed a starter, so the vehicle didn't start. So he told me he guaranteed there was nothing wrong with the vehicle other than the starter.
Okay. And when did you take it to a mechanic? After you purchased it?
When my mechanic came and put the starter on the vehicle, I drove the vehicle to a doctor's appointment. At that point, the transmission was slipping, the vehicle it was overheating, and when I got it to my doctor's appointment, I couldn't even get the key out the ignition. And when I came home, I immediately called the defendant and said, hey man, this van has several issues. And he just goes into the blase type attitude of, you know what, man, hey man,
No, absolutely
So that's
not.
what happened, Your Honor.
Absolutely
and that's the fact. The fact of the matter is
So
that
what was wrong with the van?
you name it, the muffler, as soon as I started it up with the starter, the muffler was bad.
How many miles were on the van?
148,000, which is low for 1993.
Excuse me. First of all, there's no guarantees over 140,000 miles on a vehicle.
You guaranteed
I mean,
yourself
he's a
is
used
guaranteed.
car salesman.
You guaranteed.
He was my
guaranteed
car guy.
himself, man.
No,
That's why I said it was
absolutely.
an
No
epitome of bad
guarantees.
decision making.
No guarantees.
Because when he guaranteed it,
Excuse me. I let you speak, man.
He
I
entered
let
into
you
an
speak,
oral
Daryl.
contract.
I let you
Excuse me,
speak.
gentlemen.
Can I get my chance?
Gentlemen, yes, there were some bad decisions made here, and it started with the fact that the two of you entered into an agreement without putting anything in writing, and look at where you end up.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
Now, I bought a car with over 140,000 miles on it, and when I took it to the mechanic, they told me what was wrong with it, and the next day something else was wrong with it. That happens with used cars.
And later, this concrete contractor engaged in driveway drama.
Would you agree with me, sir, that the driveway should not be peeling within a month of you doing the work and the renovations to the driveway, correct?
Incorrect, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Daryl Milner is suing his former friend for the cost of a van and repairs. Defendants Darren McGowan and Evika Prasad say they sold the van as is.
What do you have to say about
Your
that?
Honor, I think Daryl is a hustler and he's trying to hustle the court. He wants $1,300 plus the van. I think that he's a big time
Bad
hustler.
What were there
I don't even know
issues
this
with the
lady.
van?
Not that
Did you-
I know of.
Okay,
The
and
only
you-
thing that
I don't
was
even know
wrong
this
with
lady.
it
Excuse me.
was
Hold on a second.
the starter. That's it.
Okay, all right.
And he's right. He didn't know her. I was the go-between them two. I went to the guy that I knew could help me get the starter fixed. He was interested in getting the vehicle. Monies
Honor,
was exchanged. He
can I
received the
please-
title. I had the vehicle towed over to him. Now, I bought a car with over 140,000 miles on it, and when I took it to the mechanic, they told me what was wrong with it, and the next day something else was wrong with it. That happens with used cars. Buyers beware.
Your Honor, he believes in doing business with me. It wasn't reciprocated the other way. And then he comes in and trying to make it look like I'm a master manipulator when the guy totally deceived me on the vehicle.
Listen, I don't think if it makes you feel any better, I don't think you're a master
Thank you, Your
manipulator.
Honor. I appreciate
I
that.
just don't think you did your due diligence because you've been in the used car business for a long time and you should know better.
Well, I did know better.
Here's the
He
thing.
guaranteed it.
What's your evidence that he guaranteed it besides your testimony here today?
I have evidence of the work that the vehicle needs.
Sir,
and
no, that's not what I asked. What
Okay.
is your evidence besides the fact that you're testifying here today that he guaranteed that there was nothing else
Well,
wrong
the
with
evidence
car?
would be I thought that his genuineness of being a friend for over 10 years.
So
and him
here's
telling
the
truth.
issue. You don't have evidence of that. When you buy a used car, you know this as well as anyone else. It is by default an as-is sale. A car with over 140,000 miles, you don't take it to a mechanic. You can't even start it because it doesn't have a starter, so you don't know how the car is going to function even when you get it started. Some people don't care. They just go out, they look at a car, they don't test drive it, they don't take it to a mechanic. They think like Drake. They're like, YOLO, I'm just gonna get this car and I'm gonna go on. And that's what you did. But it's amazing because you've been in the used car industry for so many years, and as-is sale means you take it or you leave it. But when you take it, it's yours. My judgment in this case is for the defendant. Your case is dismissed, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right here. Thank you, sir. Go ahead and gather up your things. Oh. Go ahead and head on out.
Plaintiff Richard Grodegut is suing a cement contractor for the cost of work done on his driveway. Defendant Anthony Alamillo says his work was good and is countersuing for unpaid services rendered.
Richard Grodegut, you are suing the defendant, Anthony Alamillo.
That's correct.
For $1,300.
That's right.
For the
Your Honor.
cost of driveway repairs.
That's correct.
And you are countersuing, sir, for $650 for unpaid services rendered?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start with you, sir. What happened here?
It was about 10 months ago, and Anthony, the defendant, actually knocked on my door and at our home, and looking at our driveway, probably realized that it needed a facelift. And,
What was wrong with the driveway?
It was splotchy and discolored, and it was just plain concrete. And Anthony knocked on the door, and he gave me a pretty good pitch. And he had a brochure on the products, and there were two different products. There was a oil-based epoxy stain or paint, and then there was a water-based one as well. And clearly, I wish I had the brochure. It stated that the water-based paint and sealer was not recommended for driveways.
What is your job specifically? What do you do for a living?
I'm a concrete restoration contractor.
And how long have you been doing that?
25 plus years, ma'am.
Okay. So what ends up happening? He does the work.
Well,
on the
he was
concrete.
very, I signed a contract with him, that first week of November.
May
I
I
have
see
the
that,
contract
please,
here.
Barbara?
Your
And
Honor.
what did he agree to do for you, and how much did you agree to pay him?
The $1,300, and he agreed to reseal the concrete. I don't have the contract in front of me, but to paint, etch, reseal, cover the cracks, fill the cracks. And he was quick on the job. He was there the next day doing the power washing, and then within 3 days, the whole job was done. And it was kind of interesting because I came home when he was finishing up, and I noticed that he was putting down the sealer, and then he said he would be back and put out another coat of sealer. That struck me kind of oddly because oil-based sealer and paint products take at least 24 hours to dry. You can't come and put another paint. So I asked him when he was doing this, what product are you putting on the driveway, Anthony? And he went back to his truck and he pulled out an empty can. I have a picture. I didn't bring the can with me, but here's
Okay,
the picture of the
Barbara.
can. And it's the sealer, and it, Your Honor, it clearly is water base. And I took a picture of the back instructions as well, and the underlined part says that for best results for driveways, use their solvent-based sealer.
Have you seen this, sir?
Yes, I have, ma'am. See,
Okay.
that's a different can than
That's the
the
can
one
you
I
gave me
used.
that day you were applying the sealer.
This is different can than the one I used. And then also backing up
It's not.
on the
That's
contract.
ridiculous.
On the
That was the
contract
can
date,
he gave me off of the
The
truck.
contract date was the 3rd. I prepared the estimate. We came back on the 14th. We initiated the contract.
So
It's the
I don't
4th.
understand what you're telling me, sir.
14th. So
What's the issue?
It took me 1 week to do this work. It wasn't a matter of 3 days.
Your Honor, the contract
The-
says the 4th. It's initialized by Anthony. There's a
So
4
there was
there.
a date change here. From originally it said the 14th, and then it was changed to the 4th.
Right, that was
No,
when
the contract was
that's when I
written on
gave him
the
the check,
14th,
the deposit
ma'am.
on the 3rd.
Your Honor,
You're not
he should-
disputing that you were paid,
No,
right?
no. But he strong-armed me before he paid me.
Coming up on Judge Faith, contractor contract problems.
It's either one of two things you're telling me here today, that the date change from November 14th to the 4th, either that's your initial or you're saying that the plaintiff forged your initials on this document. Which one is it?
Plaintiff Richard Grodegut is suing a contractor for the cost of work done on his driveway. Defendant Anthony Alamillo is countersuing for unpaid services rendered.
Show the defendant this contract. Who scratched out the 14th and wrote the 4th in initial? Are those your initials?
No, you're not, Your Honor.
Look at the contract where it says inclusions, and there's a handwritten note, 1-year warranty and peeling. Are those your initials?
Yeah, I did write that, Your Honor.
Thank you. And it was on the 7th of November when he was done.
There are 3 initials on this contract. You're telling me that your initials are above the 1-year warranty and peeling?
Yes.
Correct? And
Yes.
that's not your initial. So
That's correct.
it's either one of 2 things you're telling me here today, that the date changed from November 14th to the 4th, either that's your initial or you're saying that the plaintiff forged your initials on this document. Which one is it?
This one here on the top is not correct. That
Okay,
initial.
so you never initialed that?
No.
Okay, I don't believe you. Give me the contract back. The initials are exactly the same at the
No.
top and at the
No, they're
bottom.
not. Thank you,
Yes,
Your
they
Honor.
are.
You know, after that,
I absolutely do not believe you, sir. Go ahead.
so 1 month later, it's December, it's about the 15th or so, and it had been raining, and there was a lot of wind up in the neighborhood, and the stain began to peel off. Some of it blowing off in the wind, others of it bubbling up through the moisture.
The driveway started peeling.
Started
Do we have
bubbling,
photos? Let's
peeling.
look at the
That's right.
photos. Okay, so this is after?
This is a couple months later when I had been concerned about hot weather.
When was this taken?
This one probably was the end of February.
So that was about 3 months.
Right.
But 2 weeks after he did the work on the driveway, or a few days after.
It was about a month after.
A month after, you call him back.
That's right.
And you show him
12:15. I got a text message from him. I have those text messages
You go back
here,
to
too.
his house. What do you see happening in the driveway, the work that you did?
I have a picture here, Your Honor. It's called white effervescence started bubbling up.
Okay, let me see that. And what did you see happening? Physically with your own eyes?
I saw the white effervescence coming out, and so did the representative. He was with me.
What
of the product
representative?
of my supplier. You use these products, Your Honor, and you have support from the manufacturers, whatever products you use. So if there's a product malfunction, you know, they're going to come and support me.
Okay, so you brought the representative with you
Yes,
to
I
look
did.
at the issues and
Yes.
examine the issues with his driveway.
Yes, I did.
You know, I went
Okay.
along with
And
this,
I
Your
did.
Honor.
You have to
he
use
put
this
on
product.
there 1-year warranty against peeling.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Would you agree with me, sir, that the driveway should not be peeling within a month of you doing the work and the renovations to the driveway, correct?
Incorrect, Your Honor.
You don't want to answer truthfully.
No,
First
I
of all,
am truthfully.
No, you're not.
I hired independent laboratory. They did test results. They found out it was from water,
Listen,
water seeping through.
I don't care.
Did
You
you
know
know
what
that
you
he
do?
sued the contractor that originally put the concrete down?
I don't care.
Well,
what does that matter
obviously,
to me?
he's got a
Excuse me,
track
Your Honor.
record, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I did have trouble with another contractor with the concrete. That contractor was a contractor. He came back and stood behind his work and redid the concrete. Didn't turn out.
I wanted to find out
yeah.
and investigate what the problem was. I paid for independent laboratory to come and investigate this,
And that's
Your
that's
Honor.
what your counterclaim is about. And why should he pay for what you did in terms of your investigation to find out
because
why
there's
your
a
work
problem
started
he has
peeling?
underlying. There's a problem. If you paint a wall in your house and you hire a painter and you have a leak and the paint peels off because of moisture, is that the painter's fault?
Sir, what I'm telling
Is
you
that the painter's fault? It's a hypothetical
listen,
question.
I ask the questions in my courtroom, not you. You understand? I don't answer questions, I ask them. In addition, on the contract, you have that there is a 1-year warranty against peeling. So I don't even know why we're here today. You wrote a 1-year warranty.
He strong-armed me to write that after the fact, Your Honor.
You are a grown man. If someone's gonna, you've been in business for 25 years.
I have a family to feed. I have a family to feed.
Your case is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Pay him $1,300.
Wait right here a minute. Okay, thank you, sir. Head out the same door, please.
If you or someone you know has a dispute,
All right, sure, thank you.
don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.